A lot of people were wondering if on our new from scratch homestead we're going to be bringing all the animals with us. We are doing some things a little different.
We're going to do so many things, and in this video we're actually going to talk about 7 different things we're doing way different at our new homestead. You always take a Sawzall with you for milking?
You know, if they don't let down, sometimes.
This is a surefire sign that I've been somewhere is just a pile of tools that aren't where they belong.
It's interesting. It's a good segue into a reason we're moving.
Oh, that is one of the reasons. Because I'm a pack rat? Is that the only reason? I mean, it's a pretty big reason.
Yeah. I think that's what finally convinced me.
So our new place, we actually have like a, oh, the cows are being very humpy this morning. We have a mission statement for this new homestead because we want to build it with intention. I feel like a lot of us kind of fall into this life. We don't really plan it. One minute you're like, let's get a couple chickens, and the next minute you're milking a cow twice a day, every day for the rest of your life. For us, we're going to be building this whole thing from scratch, so we have an opportunity to actually recalculate and say, you know what? We, spoiler alert, don't need a huge barn. Or maybe any barn, actually.
Somebody loaded up my cart here.
Oh, I gotta get my tools off. Hold on, let me take my tools off. I think a lot of our viewers will be surprised because this was such an appeal for us coming here. Why have you changed so much on this barn idea?
I don't like keeping a lot of the cows down here, or the goats inside, or the lambs inside, or the chickens even inside, because it's just so much mess at the barn. Instead of everybody's down in the barn all winter in these paddocks, which despite all the drainage we put in and the gravel pads, get to be a complete mess. I'd rather have them out in the field, rolling out round bales, all that manure and everything gets back into the soil, so for more of a benefit rather than just a big, mucky, dirty, diseased mess down here at the barn. So that's for me. I think for Austin, it's more about the structure of the barn and the maintenance involved. That's my guess. Is that true?
No, it's not.
Really?
It's not. The barn, having this huge, beautiful barn was one of those like grass is greener things. When we didn't have it, it seemed like, oh man, wouldn't it be great to have this? But it's exactly the same reason Kay said. The year we moved here, the amount of videos we have on our channel, we could have a whole playlist called Us Cleaning the Barn. Who dreams of homesteading and is like, oh man, I just want to clean a barn all day. The expense of building something like this, which is just beautiful, we don't really have the reason for it anymore. 90% of our animals are out. It's honestly like a giant, beautiful chicken coop.
For us, we're not going to go through the expense of building a barn just for what we're using it for is for chickens and hayloft.
Yeah,
storage.
Because your arm's probably getting
It
tired.
is tired,
Let me help
yeah.
you out here. So I think what we do want to have is a place to store some hay, store some feed, park a UTV, keep a few tools out of the rain. Now, you're about to milk a cow. What are you going to do for milking?
Probably under an eave of the house. There's a lot of people who will do their milking like in a garage next to their house, or like a basement if there's a covered area that they can bring the cow into, and that's what we have set up so far.
Now I can't lie, I'm not great with maintenance, so not having so many buildings and structures to maintain is also a plus to not having a big beautiful barn.
I was a little right.
You were definitely a little right about that, but mostly it's cleaning. I hate cleaning more than maintenance.
Yeah.
Hold on, I just realized, can you turn that off for just 1 second? I just realized we never actually said what our mission statement for this homestead is. We want to build this with intention, so we have like a mission statement. And the 3 S's: self-sufficient, simple, and
I don't remember the last one.
Super affordable.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, because what did we say it was?
Or thrifty.
Thrifty.
3
Simple.
S's. Self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient.
Simple. And simple means like simple to make, simple to maintain, simple to run, and super affordable.
Super affordable.
3 S's.
Thrifty.
All right, now you can milk the cow.
I am milking again after a 2-month break from not milking our Guernsey Fancy because she had her baby. And that'll be a video later this week. The crazy story leading up to that birth. Look at that, Luna, so good.
Oh, there was a pile of tools, so she won't go in the barn. So now, what will we do for all the livestock if there's not a barn to put them in? Well, we have chicken coops. We can put chickens in an actual little coop. Goats are so simple, man. See that little like doggy shelter? Our 2 little mini goats go and cozy up in the doggy shelter. Pigs have those A-frames in the back there. So you can see these little plastic infrastructure pieces. They're cheap, they last forever, and they're easy to move. It's a lot more flexible, and that's part of this design in our new homestead. It's going to be very light and flexible. Video proof. I'm putting my tools away. They've done enough damage this morning.
Along with our simple, super affordable,
Yeah, those are the 2, really. And self-sufficient.
and self-sufficient, yeah. Our house is going to be much smaller.
Ooh, yes. When we started homesteading, we were trying to be self-sufficient with food. We wanted to have our own good quality food, and we've done it. Watch our day in the life video.
Meat and dairy were aces.
I think my diet is 90% grown off this homestead.
Yeah, vegetables,
I don't eat many
that's what our
veggies.
parents are for.
Your mom always yells at me when we're over for dinner, like, don't forget the salad.
Yeah.
The next thing, and I think something we've overlooked for years, for self-sufficiency, it's kind of the next low-hanging fruit for us. We went for food first. Energy. Oh, how did I get so much poop on my hand?
We ask
I'm
ourselves
gonna go wash
every
my
day.
hands.
No,
So I'm
gross.
This huge glaring issue that came up really this year as the cost of fuel started to rise is we are not sufficient with our energy usage. Lights and electricity and power, diesel and gasoline.
Yeah, you
Oh,
shrink.
heat.
Yeah. To provide for all that on our own, we have to shrink the size of the house.
If you're going to be self-sufficient, if you're going to not need outside sources or not be so reliant on them or cut them out completely, you need to go back to the pioneer life. Those homesteaders did not have 2,000 square foot homes to heat with firewood. They had a tiny little home and they worked outside and they came inside and warmed up the place. And that's
like houses around the world, traditionally up until 100 years ago, were small. These super rich people had big houses because they're super rich, but everybody else, look at like the houses in England, the cob houses, or anywhere else in the world, the houses were small. I don't want to spend the rest of my life cleaning a house. I don't need a big house. I don't need a big playroom. I don't need a big kitchen. I need everything to be less. I need it to be smaller. I need us to have less things. It's like Austin hates cleaning a barn. I honestly prefer cleaning a barn to cleaning a house.
What?
And as a mom to 6 kids, I know there's going to be cleaning. I know there's going to be laundry. But in my new house, there will be a lot less of those things.
Why does minimalism appeal to you?
I get overwhelmed with stuff. I don't know why, because I know not everybody's like this. A lot of people can deal with their stuff and get it organized and where it should be, and I just get very overwhelmed by it all. Plus, with everyone that I have to deal with.
Remember when?
It is never where it should be.
Remember when?
I can never find it.
Remember when?
So why do we have it?
And we'll remember when.
What do you think? What would you say? How much percentage of our stuff is our goal to not have at the end of this process?
Let's say it at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3,
50.
60% of our stuff.
60%. Okay, that's what I was gonna say, 60. That's exactly the number I was thinking in my heart. I feel like this next point is kind of just an extension of what we're already saying is our goals with this. There's been a few comments like, oh, so you're getting a bigger farm, you're getting a bigger homestead. Nope. When you go from 10 acres, like our first homestead was, and then you get to manage 100 plus on the family farm, for us it was like, oh man, yeah, that's what we need, right, for our cows and our animals. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, who doesn't love a big farm, right? So we do like having the 100 plus acres, but honestly, having managed this property and worked on only really a third of it, I mean, we've probably only used about 30 acres.
Good enough.
So we've learned, while it's nice, I love land, especially for hunting, it's nice to have a lot. We only really need honestly, to be really self-sufficient homesteader, you don't need much more than probably 5 to 10 acres. For the size of our cow herd, which has gone beyond self-sufficiency, that's like a business enterprise, it's nice for us to have 30 to 50 acres. So we're looking at less land just for affordability's sake. Oh wow.
She didn't look bad.
No, she looked good.
Yeah. Checking the famacha. Make sure we don't have too many issues with worms right now.
So what are we gonna do different for animals? Who's coming and who's staying? Stay tuned till the end. That's the last one.
Austin's staying.
I'm staying? You're keeping me?
No.
Only if I pull the,
The old farm.
oh no! We're sharing a lot of things that we, stinker! We're sharing a lot of stuff that we would have done differently on our homestead. We would love to hear what's one thing you would do different that you've learned from homesteading. Comment below. We'd love to read all your tips.
The next thing that makes our new homestead so different, I feel like, kind of goes against our 3 mission statements.
Ooh, whoa.
One way goes against it, one way goes with it. Because it's going off-grid. And off-grid is not necessarily simplified.
I was going to argue with you here. I think I will.
Surprise. And this, I feel like, is a rabbit hole you can get into, right?
Yeah.
Is off-grid more sufficient? Are you making your own? Are we talking solar, right?
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
making your own solar panels?
Yeah, because you're not.
Are you using propane? Are you getting your own propane? Like,
okay, so this is a good, this is, wow. Oh,
because
man.
it's very nuanced.
Ooh, this is going to be a podcast. By the way, if you don't have time to watch our podcast videos, the long videos we do where we sit down, we're going to be doing a lot of deep dives on our podcast for this series. Subscribe to the audio version so when you're driving in your car you can listen to it. Link will pop up on the screen. Off-grid, I think when we approach this, because you're right, off-grid, you're not making your own solar panels, you're not making your own batteries.
Or propane.
We are building very simple, very basic, and then upgrading. We watched a video where somebody had what's called an earth ship. And their goal with the earth ship was be 100% self-sufficient building where you don't need outside inputs. But then they upgraded from that in comforts.
So while we have the ability to have the comforts, take advantage of it.
We're gonna have a house that is totally able to be heated by just firewood. But now, that doesn't mean it will be the only source of heat in the house. We're also talking about doing propane radiant or solar radiant, some kind of radiant heating to make it more comfortable. But should we need to be 100% self-sufficient, we can cut down the trees and heat the house enough to be comfortable. It'll be super insulated, so it will maintain that heat. It will be designed to operate as self-sufficient as possible.
It's also going to force us to change our habits a lot. Like watching your hot water usage, watching your electricity usage. Maybe people in the house will learn to turn off light switches. Maybe.
I've gotten better.
Yeah, I've honestly gone around this property and I've shut off breakers to places because it's just been so expensive to pay for the electric bill. And, Mom, I know, kids leave the lights on.
Saw a really funny meme recently. People like to rag on millennials. And it said, yeah, okay, so maybe I'm not as handy as my father, but I can tell my kids that I love them. And I identified with that, because I'm not as handy as my dad, by no means. But to be fair, my dad was pretty good with expressions of love. But the joke is, I'm not handy is the point there. Oh boy.
It's a close one.
Focus on my work.
That's a close one.
I mean,
That's why we're here.
one of the things that's been really hard here at this house, there's a lot of maintenance here, a lot of systems here that I'm unfamiliar with. This is a perfect example of something that leads us into our next point too. We have a well here. I don't know how to fix my own well. And we've had a lot of issues with wells on our homesteads. Now we do rainwater catchment here, and I can run that whole system myself. I don't need to call a professional for help, so it saves us a lot of money. And that leads us into our next point, which is we will not be putting in a well at our new homestead. We will be building from the ground up purely on rainwater catchment.
So no well. This will be our first ever house where we don't have a well to rely on. And I think if I would have moved from our Connecticut home to a house with no well, I would have been more scared. Because a well seems so, in my lifetime, all our wells have been very reliable. But now moving here and seeing this issue across the country with people and wells drying up and our well giving us problems with not having enough water to feed the animals, I realized like a well is not a guaranteed system of water. It's a good, if you can pay the money to get the people in here to drill for a well and find water within a reasonable like drilling session. Don't say drilling.
Nice.
We're able to find water. And they're able to eventually find water. Yeah, a well is a great option. Shut up, Austin.
I'm 12 years old.
A well is a great option if you can afford to put one in and they find water. But we can't start off with a new place. It is not in the budget to put in a well. And we know how to do the rainwater. That's what we're gonna do.
Look at all that milk. What are you getting from her a day? There's 3 gallons sitting there. Did you pour any out?
Well, the calf gets a gallon a day, and we get about a gallon at night. So what's that?
That's
1,
2
3,
gallons
5
plus
gallons a
3
day.
gallons. Oh man. Look at all the milk we got. Do you want to put any in deep freezers or we don't have room? Look at all this sausage. This is all the sausage we made over the weekend. Look at all this sausage. Pork sausage. We also cured bacon and ham.
Oh, you did coffee.
So good. No milk, guys. Help. Nice. Being at this homestead, we've been able to test rainwater for livestock and make sure it actually is a good solution even for such a big herd as what we have. We've been catching rainwater now this entire year because, like we mentioned, our well not so hot. So we have gutters go down into these IBC totes, and they fill each other up, and then I come with the tractor and I pick them up. Well, normally it works really good, but I didn't catch much water on that last storm, which is a shame. Anyway, things can go wrong with rainwater, but I can fix a rainwater system. I'm not so hot with a well, so this will be a much better option for us. We'll be catching rainwater, and we will be watering all our livestock with rainwater, and we'll show you those systems, the plans we have for them, and as we build them. I do think it's worth mentioning this because I know a lot of people will watch this video planning their own homesteads. I don't think being off-grid is right for everybody. For us, for years, it would have been wrong. I would suggest to the viewers, and I wonder if you'll agree with me here, I would suggest to viewers, start homesteading wherever you are, right now, just start. We have a whole class for that. Click right there if you want to get it. It's a free video class, Start Homesteading Today. Because all the work over making sausage, curing hams and bacons, making cheese and preserving milk and actually setting up milking machines and managing cows, right? It took us a decade to learn all this stuff. And if we had been doing it off-grid, I think it would have taken us longer to get as far as we have.
And it's a considerable investment. So if you
Yeah.
just start where you are, that's a great idea. But if you're looking for property,
Right.
and like this great off-grid property pops up and you're like, no, I can't.
Yeah,
off-grid
no,
yet.
it's
like,
not a
just
rule.
do it. And I feel like depending on our finances is really going to determine like at what level we could go up and fix this fence.
Oh, okay.
Pull this down.
Yep.
Really going to determine like what are our creature comforts going to be at first?
Yeah.
Like what's our washer dryer setup going to be? What about hot water and like septic? We didn't talk about that yet. Composting toilet versus septic, and
you know, you already mentioned it, but like it's not necessarily simple to be off-grid. We've been following a lot of off-gridders on different social medias and things. You see like a composting toilet, whereas this morning I go flush. Well, now you got to take it out and you got to dump it and you got to clean it.
It won't be different for everybody because you were a septic installer.
I can put in a septic.
You know
it's
how
not
to
a big
put in
deal.
a septic.
Yeah.
Right.
But the point is, if you want to do the food and the livestock and you don't have to go off grid first, I just wanted to say I don't think it's like a must for everybody.
No, it's not like you're not homesteading if you're not off grid.
Right. It did not appeal to us for a long time. It's only now that we've kind of got this.
And I do think it's something everybody should at least dip a toe into because who knows?
Be more self-sufficient.
Yeah, who knows?
Learn about
with
solar
oil prices,
panels.
Put in a wood stove.
Get a wood stove, but you can do that where you are, and then, unless you are starting from scratch and you actually are saving for the property and you live in the city right now. But if you're somewhere where you can have some chickens, don't be like, well, I can't start homesteading till I go off grid. Well, get your chickens.
We dipped our toe into solar. And cows, are they solar?
Oh man, they are, because they run off the sun.
So,
Photosynthesis, man.
what's the next one? You can edit out photosynthesis, man.
All right, let's move the cows this morning. Walking up the hill, moving cows. We are huge fans of rotationally grazing. That's something we've done more and more. I think even you've become more of a fan of it.
Me?
Yeah, you're seeing how good your cows look rotationally grazed.
Yeah, thanks to you.
We have been, over the last few years here, experimenting with our rotational grazing and our fencing, and this is something we're going to do different at our new homestead. Fencing. Whew. And I'll tell you about it when I make it to the top of this hill. Seeing some different colored leaves behind you.
This will be our fencing for a while.
Actually, I'm gonna name drop here. My old buddy Jolie, y'all might know him as Joel Salatin, but me and Jolie go way back. I heard Joel Salatin say he doesn't install permanent fencing for 2 years. You set up your lightweight, movable stuff like this, and you run it for 2 years. And if you haven't moved it, like if you haven't changed your setup in 2 years, then you go and do this. And that's exactly what we did when we came here.
Yeah.
We ran this for a couple of years, figured it out, and then did our high tensile. But now, I would like to put up some high tensile. I won't do exactly the same system as what we did here, because as all things happen, we ran this system now for a couple of years. I've learned what I would do to make it even better. A couple little pro tips here, ready? If I do say so myself.
We will not go quietly into the night.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
I bid you stand, men of the West!
I don't even know where to start on that.
I always assume when you hand it to me it's recording.
No, never assume. Like the second time today.
Okay, go ahead. I really do assume when you hand it to me it's recording.
Well.
Because you say never stop recording.
No, never assume. Look for the red light.
Yeah.
It's like the second time today.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, the question everyone's here for. Are the cows coming? Before we talk about cows. Animals in general.
Teaser.
What are we going to do different with our homestead with animals in general from scratch? We're not selling everything.
No, I think just downsizing in general. From every group that we have, save the dogs and the cats, I think it were a little less. So, for example, the cows. Just peeing in the background.
Nice. Look at that. Thanks, honeybee. Pigs.
All right, so pigs. What are we doing
I think
with
this
pigs?
is our biggest change. Over the last couple of years of homesteading, we have been raising coonies with a breeding pair, and we also had a breeding pair of Idaho pastured pigs, which we've been trying out. I would love to do a future video. If anyone's interested, let me know in the comments, comparing those and what we raised this year, which is what we used to raise every year in Connecticut, commercial pink piggy crosses, Yorkshire landrace cross pigs. We are, I want to say, done with Idaho pasture pig.
One big thing is the fencing. We don't have the solid fencing there, so I don't want to deal with the large boars and sows and the kids.
Our Idaho pasture pig boar was a lot.
He was
not
big,
mean,
but he was very food aggressive.
very food aggressive and very big and strong. And I mean, we have bulls on this farm, but we can manage them very easily and keep them completely 100% away from our kids. The boars are hard to contain.
Yeah, he was too. He was very disrespectful of the fencing.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't a hard, solid fence, he would get through it.
The boars, so we've decided, you know what, no more big pigs. And we have other reasons why, which we can talk about in a future video. We just have decided not to continue with Idaho pasture pigs. Everything's got pros and cons. We've just chose that's the one to go because we're trying to simplify. That's the one we're picking. We will keep a small cooney pair only because our son loves his little coonies. And we like having kids have their own animals to care for. So there will be coonies. The reason we got them in the first place was for him. So we're not going to sell all his coonies. Now the cows. Let's talk about your cows. How much do you love selling cows?
I do it occasionally.
Yeah.
I do.
You sold one
cows
that we got
occasionally.
from somebody else and
I
had.
also sold our, whose was it? Grasshopper's little heifer.
You
Do sell cows
You love selling cows so
Well.
much. Cows are like potato chips. You'd rather have them than sell them.
No, the cows are staying.
All the cows?
And when I say staying, I mean going with us. Not all the cows. She's coming with us. That little dark calf
Just him.
in the background.
He's not coming.
I will be selling him. He's a little bull calf. He's a nice little guy, A2, polled, small, but he's related to so many of my cows, I can't use him to breed anybody. So that's Luna's calf, and we will be selling him.
Registered.
If anybody's interested, if anybody is interested, send us an email. He's such a nice little bull. He's starting to look like a teddy bear now. He's getting his fuzzy coat on. He's always been a super friendly little guy. He's one of Concho's babies, and Concho's just a terrific little bull. Fancy's staying. All the girls are staying. Briggs staying. Going with us. The Highlands actually are maybe the biggest change of the cow group.
Yes.
They think we're getting in the grass. When you walk backwards in a cow field, you step in the cow field.
Yeah.
This should be a metaphor for something.
Sounds like a good one.
I'm just saying you're
Thank you. Cows have become our favorite, I call it the cornerstone animal on our homestead. So really this cow, the mini Jersey, but also we love our Guernsey.
Her breath. Luna.
Cow breath. Highlands we got into to experiment with some beef cows and try something new. Well, that was mustache fishing. Over the last year of working with the Highlands, we have compared them to our dairy girls. Our mini Jerseys are not exactly bony dairy cows. I wouldn't call them skinny by any means. So if you're looking for a good dual purpose cow, like, I mean, milk and meat. Sorry, Loon. No offense, but you're very meaty. Not that I'm shaming by any means. It's a good thing.
Meaty.
Meat shaming.
Not fat, I'm meaty.
I mean, look at that. My money don't jiggle jiggle, right? Is it jingle jingle? This money jiggle jiggle. I mean, they just, if you're looking for one homestead animal to give you so much, the mini Jerseys are hard to beat for dual purpose family homesteading. So we got the Highlands to try out the beef thing, and I like them. They're beautiful. I really like Jo. She's become a great cow to work with, but they do not do so hot in the heat.
Yeah, we had a really hot summer and they suffered.
Yeah.
Even into September, beginning of October, they're still hot.
Yeah.
And depending on the property we go to, it might not be like, we can't let them be in the shade because there won't be any shade nearby, and to drag around shade for them, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And if we're going for simplifying,
Yes.
they are not as hardy, surprisingly enough, as our mini Jerseys have been.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the field and I've seen the mini Jerseys grazing in the middle of the sunny day, in the middle of the summer sunny day, walking around grazing. And when cows are grazing, they're feeding themselves, right? They're doing what they're supposed to. And the Highlands just standing in the shade cart, not moving till the end of the day. And that's just not efficient, that's not productive, it's not what we're going for. So we're not going to grow the Highland program here. And Jolene's really, really good genetics. I would sell her to the right buyer. I like having a lot of cows to trample and graze with. She's a good, well-trained cow. So I'm not listing her. But if somebody's looking for really good genetics and wants to talk, you can email us at thisishomesteady.com. We're just not going to grow it for now.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to advance with a Highland breeding program because they just were not a right fit for here. Yeah, our Jerseys, they do great in the cold, they do great in the heat. They're just all around an easier cow for us to deal with here. So there's a hint to where we're looking for properties. It's like not Antarctica.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we don't like being too cold, so. Now when it comes to us personally, we actually really love our Guernsey for a homestead cow and our mini Jersey. Which is better to milk? We did a comparison video where we compare mini Jerseys and Guernseys, milking them, what we like better. Watch that video here if you're thinking about getting a family milk cow. It'll probably help you decide which one is right for you. And stay tuned for the next video in this series where we're going to be talking about purchasing homestead land. Let us know what questions you have about purchasing homestead land.